Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Curtain. My name is Carly, and I'm going to be the moderator again for today. If you're watching us live, welcome, and we would love to see you participate by sending any questions, comments, feedback you have after watching Mulan in the live chat below. And if you're watching us after hours, feel free to put any comments on our YouTube channel, or you can also email us at info@majestictheater.com. But without further ado, I would love to introduce the cast of Mulan. Hello, everyone.
Here.
As they all slowly file in.
Yeah, hi.
Slowly file in.
Right.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, you guys. Have fun.
Carly.
Thank you.
Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Hey everybody.
I'm not in
Welcome
yet.
to another what is this? Behind the Curtain, but Children's Theater edition. We're winding down. I only have so many of these recordings left. And today we're talking about last summer, 2019's Disney's Mulan. So those of you who were, someone made a funny point yesterday about there's supposed to be a movie that, like a live action movie, right?
Yeah, like 6 months ago.
Yeah, but it's postponed, right?
Because it doesn't have
it got
So
postponed
you can
like 5
check out
times.
ours. Ours is a live version of it, and I'm happy too because this has happened quite a bit where I do some story, and then Disney like a year later will do the live action version. So we've got a good track record of beating them. But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about Mulan. Let's go around. Let's introduce each other. Say who you are, who you played in the show, and I want to try and keep this relatively brief, maybe briefer than others. I'm actually at my brother's house right now. We're celebrating my grandmother's 100th birthday.
Where?
So I want to get back to that, but I'm happy to see you guys. I'm happy to check in and talk about this show. I watched it last night. I hope you guys had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it's always, when you're an actor, fun to see. You don't get to see the audience's perspective. You get, you have your experience on stage, and parts of the show you're backstage or you're changing. So I think it's really, really healthy and good for actors to see the big picture and see what I see. So you can speak about that. Happy to talk about our production, the concretes, light, sets, sound, costume, things like that. And I'm happy to talk about the story in general, because it's a great story. And it's a great tale, Disney aside. But yeah, let's go around the room. Let's introduce yourself, say who you are, who you played, and briefly what you're up to now. I'm gonna go as I see it here, starting with Autumn.
Hi, I'm Autumn. I'm going to be a freshman at UMass Amherst in the fall for theater. I've been with Majestic Children's Theater for 3 years. This Mulan was my 3rd year here. Or no, it was my 2nd year. And yeah, so I've just been kind of staying at home. I've been working, playing piano, singing, and stuff like that. But I'm happy to be here. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks, Autumn. I see Caleb next.
All right. What's up, guys? I'm Caleb. I played Mushu in the show. Let's see. Right now, I'm up to working on some plays, some other miscellaneous projects. Oh yeah. Also, this was round 2 for me.
Great. Thanks, Caleb. And up next, I see Jackson Unsu. Go ahead, sir.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Yeah.
I'm Jackson, and I'm gonna be a freshman at Northeastern University, and I played Shang and Matchmaker in the show. And currently, I'm hospitalized for a stomach bug. I'm eating rotten sushi, but I'm all good.
That boy straight up.
And I've been very busy with working.
At a bakery, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you'll do theater again soon, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Great. All right, thanks Jackson. Felix.
Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Felix Mensa. I'm going to be a freshman at UConn, University of Connecticut next year, where I'll be majoring in physiology and neurobio. So that's gonna be fun. In the show, I played a couple like a village character, and then towards the middle and the end, I played Shan Yu, the main antagonist. So that was fun as well. And To keep myself busy during these weird times, I'm playing video games. I'm playing piano a little bit. Watching a lot of YouTube. Watching a lot of Netflix. Listening to a lot of music. So it's fun. It's fun.
Great. Thanks, Felix. And the twofer. I see Emily and Allison. And I'll go with Allison because that's the direction I'm looking at.
Hi, I'm Allison. I played grandmother as well as a soldier. I'm going to be a sophomore at Bard College at Simon's Rock this coming year. And to keep myself busy during quarantine, I've been playing a lot of piano as well as painting the house.
Painting the house is great. And you're going for at least minoring in technical theater, yeah?
Yeah, I'm planning on eventually majoring in tech theater.
Great. Thanks, Allison. Go ahead, Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Weber. I played Mulan, and I'm going to be a rising sophomore at the Chicago College of Performing Arts for a BFA in musical theater. While I'm here in quarantine, I've just been dancing a lot and reading.
Good for you. All right, and hold on. Mikey.
Hey, my name's Mikey or Miguel. This past year, Majestic was my first year. Best time I ever had doing theater. I'm probably gonna end up going to HCC and then transfer out of UMass. Gonna major in theater. That's just really like the one big thing I see myself doing. During quarantine, kind of just doing the same stuff Felix is talking about, just binging stuff, trying to keep busy. I've been writing music. Just started getting back into that because
Nice.
like, what else am I gonna do? And yeah, that's about it. I just got a job recently, so it's good to be getting some income.
Where at?
In the show, I played Yao. He's one of the 3 soldiers that Mulan's cool with. In the movie, he's like the small one with the black eye that sounds like a chain smoker.
Harvey Farstein, who I always confuse with. I always think that he played like the matchmaker, which is part of why I put the matchmaker in drag, or why I thought that would work. Yeah, thanks. Cool. Thanks, Mikey. Emily.
Hi, my name is Emily Marr. I played Mulan's mom in the play, and I am a rising senior at Pioneer Valley Performing Arts in South Hadley. And recently, I just finished my week in introduction mission at the Coast Guard Academy. That's where I'm planning to go for engineering.
Great.
That'll help keep myself busy. I've been just family, working, playing soccer during quarantine.
Great. Thanks, Emily. And Mark.
Hi, guys. My name is Mark Lagarda, and I'm an upcoming senior this year. This is my first year with the Majestic Theater, and it was a great one. And what I've been doing recently is I've been lifeguarding at one of the Westfield YMCA's pools. And to keep myself busy, I've been biking, cooking, and playing tennis and video games.
Nice. Thanks, Mark. And I guess, let's see. Sydney was supposed to be here too. I heard from her mom, but I don't see her. So yeah, Sydney was also in the show. So we're missing her, and we're missing Michael.
Michael probably sleeping.
Luciano, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. All right, guys. Well, here's how I do this thing. I just throw it right to you, and I'm sure I got plenty to say about the show, but I just need to be prompted by your observations and whatever you guys want to talk about. And I'll just trust my subconscious, and I'm sure I'll touch on things that we probably talked about in rehearsal. That's what I found the most when I do these, is I realize afterwards, like, this is all just the stuff I've said in rehearsal. And and it's what makes up a show, and I'm proud of the fact that when we put a play together, that we talk about it quite a bit, and I think that helps, for your what the vision is, and just gets everybody on the same page, and you know what I mean, to think about it more intellectually and not just in the concrete sense of what it looks like. So yeah, go ahead, guys. You watch this. Hopefully, it's now on YouTube. About 100 people have watched it so far, and hundreds more will see it, and it's really cool. What stood out to you? I'll throw it to you guys. Go right ahead. Anybody?
Well, for one, I think that.
You go.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, never mind.
You good.
I think I saw Caleb first, so go ahead, Caleb.
Oh, okay. I want to say thanks for cutting Keep Them Guessing in half, because I realize now I look a little tired by the end of the song. I remember like my entire right arm being tired by the end of that. So
That looked so cool though. Like it was just so well choreographed, and like your dances, it was just so cool.
Yeah, I just want to say Caleb is MVP of this show because nobody moved like him, bro. Like I was
Like, we were all backstage
when he hit the
flipping
moonwalk.
out. Like backstage, every time we watched it, we were like freaking out. We were like, "Yes, Caleb, go, Caleb!"
Caleb with that. I mean, let's talk about that, Caleb. You with that puppet. That's a hell of a puppet, but you really mastered how to do that. And I remember you came in with, you had a notebook of just notes and pictures with arrows, so showing like if I put his head this way or that way, it'll convey such and such emotion. Do you want to talk about your process with that?
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, he got it. He's ready.
This is one of my practice puppets. His name's Kevin, but like, yeah, I had a 3-part system. There's like what the head is doing, and then there's like what the arm is.
Yeah, you have control of one arm.
Yeah, and by using these 3 portions of the puppet, because that's all I was able to move, I was able to come up with different expressions and gestures and stuff like that. By the time we started blocking and rehearsing, I think I had a gesture for almost every line, but I sort of had to forget all that. So, but then it just came natural. So, yeah.
Yeah. That puppet is one of the highlights of the show. I think it's really great. I mean, when I hear like that the live action Mulan won't have a Mushu, it's like what? Crazy. Yeah. So thank you for your hard work with that puppet. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I hope I did well.
Oh my God. Yeah, beyond well. Yeah, you exceeded. Yeah.
I'm telling you, MVP, straight up.
How did you feel? Did you get a chance to watch it, Caleb? How did you feel watching it? Seeing it from a different perspective.
I remember integrating little smaller gestures from scene to scene, and those were able to come across in the recording. So I was actually pretty proud of that. I thought that wouldn't be seen at all. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very expressive. Yeah, cool. What else, guys? Other people had their hands up. Go ahead, Emily. Mara.
I mean, if other people had questions before me, they can go ahead.
No, go ahead. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, go ahead.
To ask, what was everyone's favorite part and what was everyone's least favorite part?
Okay. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Emily. Other Emily.
I will say, my least favorite part was when I had to chop off my hair, because that was so incredibly stressful for me. It took so much rehearsal time, and it was a clip in the back attached to my bun, but it would get stuck in the bag that I had around. So sometimes I tried to slice it, and then it would just kind of like flop down. Other times it wouldn't be there, and I'm like, where is it? So I think that's my least favorite part, just because it was so stressful.
Well, I think on this recording it does.
Yeah.
It falls off, and
I was gonna get to that.
Go ahead, Mikey. What happened? Go ahead.
All right. So there was I could definitely peep the trouble she was having with that hair extension. Like there is some, like I remember one of the shows that didn't get recorded. She like tried to cut it off, but it would not come off. So she's like there for like 30 seconds still like singing with it on. But what happened in this recording is it's right after she sings that song after she like messes up everything with the matchmaker. And like I don't even know how it happened. Like she just plops off the ground and then it goes whoop.
Yeah.
You very swiftly picked it up and I can't expect where. It's very good. You don't even really notice. We notice because we know, but for the most part, it kind of goes under the radar. So good work on that.
Yeah.
Well, that question Are you saying what's like our favorite part of the whole movie in general, or like our favorite scene with us in it? Because like to take the second part, like my favorite scene of mine is definitely the fight scene, especially since I just rewatched it. I sent it to you guys, and it was so cool.
It looked good. It looked real
I
good.
slowed it down. I slowed it down to half speed, and I looked exactly like how we went about it. And I remember it was so tough to get that because like I couldn't time it right. And she puts the fan in my face, and I looked surprised. But then once we finally got it, oh, it looked so good, so good. I love that
Yeah,
scene.
we had to do a fight call every time.
Yeah.
Sorry, every time before curtain. So we would do it actually at half speed, and then we would do it at full speed. And the same goes with Jackson and I when we did what's it called?
Staff, the both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Be a Man song.
Oh yeah, me and Jackson fought too. That was cool. Remember that?
Remember,
Yeah.
remember the time when the sword broke? When we were
Oh
fighting?
yeah.
Yeah, that happened with everything. I remember rehearsing with Jackson and Emily. They're sparring with the sticks, and they're just shattering everywhere. And like
And
me,
when I
Michael, and
almost
Allison are in the back, like, okay, all right,
Yeah. I remember the fans also breaking too.
Yeah.
Breaking happened a lot.
and
I had said in a previous one of these Zoom things, like if you want to test the durability of something, put it in a play because it'll likely break. And you know, when I have to pull props for our regular season shows, you know, if you need to pull a glass for someone to drink water or whatever, it's always like take 2 or 3 because one's gonna break. Yeah.
And then
Alton, you had your hand up.
Yeah,
Lean it, like get real close to your computer, like dead center. There you
okay.
go.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say for me, one of the more stressful parts of the show, or maybe most stressful, was the one where we're supposed to be dressing up Mulan for the matchmaker
honor
because
to
we
us
did
all.
her makeup and we changed all of her clothes on stage, and like all of us were just like, we just want to make her like look good and also sing at the same time. It was a lot, but
we had
Go ahead.
go ahead, Autumn.
we had so much we had to spend so much time. I think we spent like almost half of a rehearsal just doing that one song because
Yeah.
because the choreography was so hard and we were like rushing around, and by the end we were so out of breath and everything, and we were like, we can't do this anymore. And it took us like the recording. I think the recording was the first time that we got it all the way through without messing it up, because every other show we like, I don't know, I think we'd sing wrong lines or we'd run out
It
of
either
breath. We
it would be
missed our
like wrong
cue.
lines, off beat, or like
Because we missed our cues because the song was fast paced and we had to like do her makeup, so we had to focus on that and making it look like how it was supposed to look while also singing our parts the right way with the right notes at the right time. And the cues are really hard to catch on because they're so quick, and counting the beats is really weird, and it was a weird song, so it was just like really difficult to get it all at once, and so it just took a lot of time and a lot of effort, and we were just really really tired by the end of it.
Yeah, you know, when you watch a Broadway show, a professional show, I always think, geez, they make it look easy, you know, because
Yeah.
it's one thing to sing these songs at home and practice. And you think, oh, I'm good, you know. But then when you get up on stage and you have to, you know, rub your belly and tap your head at the same time, and you know, you know, you got
multitasking
to
hard.
dance, you got to move, you have to move set pieces, you have to put, you know, and it's one of those things where, like with the hair and with the makeup and with, you know, I've seen YouTube, you know, productions of Mulan, and they don't go through all of that. But going into this, I was like, you know, I think we need to make her up. I think she needs to cut her hair off. How do we do that? So it's tough. It's a tough balance of like all these complex things, and a lot of things can go wrong with it. But when it goes right, it's really beautiful. And I have to say, when I watched this, I have to say I was proud of myself watching it from like, I mean, the whole thing is great, but I liked from the first time we see Mushu up till and past reflection, I feel like flows and looks really, really nice. The scene changes are really quick and efficient, and it flows beautifully, and that's very important to me. Go ahead, Autumn.
It was really cool watching what like going off of what you said, the first time transitions from just the stone statue to Caleb actually coming out. And I only knew the process and I was backstage when it happened, but like watching it happen as an audience member, it went really fast, like faster than I thought it went, and it just looked really realistic and really cool the way it was all like drawn out and the way that like he was right behind the curtain and he came out after and the statue was brought back, and it was really quick and it looked really realistic and really cool.
Yeah, that
There was a
statue's
lot
on
of
my
moments in
on
the
my
show that were
dining
like
room
that for
table.
me.
Go ahead, Mikey. You had your hand up.
I was just gonna say like there was a lot of moments in the show that were like that for me, where I was like, wow, that was way quicker than I thought it was. Like at the end of the show when we're singing at Jackson's character about like how he should go after Mulan, and like that transition, Mark is center stage and
Yeah.
he's standing there and he does not run. He walks backstage and then like half a second later he's back out with the cane and stuff, and I was like, wow, that
Yeah,
was
really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Oh
That
well, I
was
remember
really
telling
good.
Mark, don't run, walk, and and I said, and I wish I hammered this home even more because I was watching it. I was like, it isn't quite there. Sorry, there's a fly here. And it's that like I didn't care if we saw the emperor change into the father or father into the emperor because he's kind of a father figure. And there's that line early on about like the father is the head of the household, so
Yeah.
the emperor is the head of China. So there's this whole father figure and father, pleasing the father stuff going on with the emperor anyway. So, and when you double actors, it's always great to attach some thematic significance to it, such as the father in Peter Pan traditionally plays Captain Hook. And Jumanji, the movie with Robin Williams, did that really, really well. And I think they're taking off of Peter Pan and to some extent through the Looking Glass, and we'll get to that. Because I actually rewatched Jumanji recently of all movies. And I was like, holy cow, I took a lot from this for Looking Glass and I didn't even realize it. But anyways, the father in Jumanji also doubles and plays the hunter, and he says similar things that the father does. He's like an evil version of the father. And also just speaking of that off the top of my head, I like in this play, speaking of doubling and giving it thematic significance, I like Jackson as the matchmaker. I like that Allison is in there playing a man. You just happened to cut your hair short that year. And I was like, well, wouldn't it be interesting if, and we don't say anything about it, that you play a boy and that he's playing a girl. And then, so there's this whole, it mixes in with the themes of the masculine and femininity and yin and yang and having a good blend of those things. And then the guys dressing up like ladies at the end. And I love the whole, yeah, and the whole symbolism too with the helmet and sword versus the fan, and the fan is feminine and the sword is masculine, but they trade the objects often. That's good. That's fine.
Hey, shout out Michael.
Clearly a rehearsal, everybody. I wouldn't allow speakers and wires on the floor and no color in the background. But anyway, just I like those things about the show. Go ahead, anybody else on any thought at all?
That whole scene took a while to get down.
Yeah,
like
changing on
scene.
stage.
We went through like 5 different versions before we actually were like, you know what? Just drop your stuff there and just change right there. Who cares?
Yeah, it's hard to time things out. I listened to this and I listened to the music over and over going into things, but until you have the bodies on that stage, there's only so much you can do.
Also, it's because like sometimes the music relies on a certain set piece that we just don't got. So it's like,
yeah, you have to make it work with the music that you have.
Like this scene. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Me or
yeah.
No, I was watching it, and one of my favorite parts was it was really quick, but the beginning when we fall, and when Mark talks about the avalanche, and then we have to time it with the music, and then we all fall, and we had to do that like a lot of times, a lot of injuries. It was worth it because it looked really cool in the show, and it was like we all had to fall in certain ways too. Like you blocked it too. You went down the line and were like, okay, you fall this way, you fall this way, you fall this way. So it just looked like we were all spread out. And when I watched it, it was so cool. And we had to time it with the music when we shouted at Mulan and then the lights went off. And it was just really well done. And I watched it back like a ton of times because it was really fun to watch.
That's great. Anybody else?
Speaking of the music, I think for this show, like this was one of my favorite. Like of all the shows I've done in Majestic, the soundtrack, like it's so engaging. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You know? It's so much fun. So, just my opinion, I think out of all the shows that I've done in Majestic, this soundtrack was the most fire.
No, after I watched it, I was the whole soundtrack has been in my head since I watched the show. I've been at work and it was just all in my head, and I was just singing the songs. And
yeah, the music is really beautiful, and I like the song. I even like the songs that are added to the show that aren't in the movie. And I suspect, I bet $1,000 that they seem like they were just cut from the movie because they blend so seamlessly with everything else.
Yeah.
You know, the whole opening number about fathers, sons, daughters, mothers. It's like the Chinese version of Fiddler on the Roof. You know, like just. Yeah. And I mean, I couldn't believe I happened to see. I was almost going to do a stage show of Moana this summer. But I decided to do something else. So I saw the beginning of Moana, and I was like, son of a gun. I mean, are they ever going to stray from this formula? Because it was like the town, and here's what we do, and here's what the sons do, and here's what the fathers do. And I get it, you know. And then of course next the girl has the I want song and the I want more, and I got to get out of here, you know. But there's a reason that's a formula.
I never thought about that.
Powerful, you know. Yeah.
I never thought about that. It's kind of facts.
Yeah, and Reflection is beautiful. You know, that's a beautiful song. But who's talking? Is it Emily?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it just shows up a lot in especially Disney's more like places that aren't Eurocentric. So they will have like introduce those family stereotypes that we have into each one. You see Aladdin and Arabian Nights, you know, same, and you mentioned Mulan, Moana, and I think it's very just because, you know, they're kids, and, you know, Disney is known for doing very white stuff, that it's very, they're like, okay, here's a new culture for you to open your eyes to.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, Disney started out with Snow White, Cinderella, Pinocchio. I don't know, that's Italian, right? I mean, so yeah, I mean, it drew from Eurocentric stuff, as you say, Emily. But you know, you start running out of that. That's a beautiful shot. But yeah, when they started running out of those tales, those like fairy tales, then they started looking elsewhere. And yeah, it's interesting that Mulan is just a famous ancient story in China, and then they go, well, where else can we go? You know, Pacific Islands, I guess, with Moana, and you know, what are the tales there? What's the folklore there? And how can we take it and romanticize it and turn it in, you know? So, love it or hate it, you know, I love that kind of, you know, I think it's pretty cool, you know.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and you know, and another reason I did Mulan was because, so it came out in 1998. I was, let's see, 12 or 13. And I didn't go and see it. And I didn't see, I think Hercules was the year before. I think the last Disney movie I'd seen in the theater was Hunchback of Notre Dame. And it was like, and I wanted to do Mulan because I feel like that was right at that's kind of, I see Mulan as kind of the last of Disney's second renaissance, you know, of the 90s, starting with Little Mermaid in 89, and then Beauty and the Beast, which was nominated for Best Picture. And my whatever vague memories I have of Beauty and the Beast, I remember that being like everyone was going to see it. Teenagers, old people, young people, and lines were out the door. You know, so it was kind of their second golden age, you know. They had kind of went through a dark period after Walt Disney died in the 70s and 80s. And but Mulan I see is kind of the last of that second Renaissance era of hand-drawn cartoons, because then you got Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., and then you were getting into Pixar territory. And also, I think, just going off of what you're saying, Emily, I feel like most people were like started to catch wise, you know, of their formula and of the going into a different culture, you know, extrapolating things from it that you can get, you know, do the immersion song right off the bat, then, you know, in the village, here are everybody's roles, then do the I Want song, right? The Little Mermaid, Part of Your World, Mulan, Reflection, you know, Quasimodo, Out There, Hercules has one, right? Go the Distance, right?
Yeah, go
So,
the distance.
so I think it's, I mean, it's this, it's kind of the same. I think people were catching on to the formula, and I thought that it in that sense, Mulan kind of went under the radar a tad. It wasn't as popular as Beauty and the Beast and stuff. So in that sense, I thought it was right for doing a live action version. And the fact that, you know, they were coming out with one right around, you know, the same time or a year later, I think is proof positive of that, you know. So anyway, I'm rambling, but anybody else got anything to talk about?
I was gonna say, it was kind of interesting to examine how like Mulan's like love relationship never actually do I have to be closer?
Yeah, you're good.
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah. When you're closer, it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Like Mulan's love relationship with Shang,
Yeah.
because we had discussed this at the beginning of rehearsal, how Captain Shang kind of knew Mulan was a girl right off the get-go, you know. So like it was kind of that kind of cat and mouse kind of relationship of kind of like, okay, I know you're a girl, but let's see what you can do.
That's
And then
and
and then at the end when the grandmother's like, "Woo, sign me up for the next war," you know, it's he's not. They're not like already, you know, kissing at the end, and it's a very like start at the beginning, very rational, which
It's
is very
subtle.
Mulan.
Yeah, let's have dinner, right?
Yeah.
Grandmother says, "Do you want to stay forever?" And he's like, "Dinner would be great," you know. Yeah, so it's like they have to start over in terms of starting a relationship, but their love relationship, I mean, it's a heck of a lot deeper than the others in a lot of ways, because they actually go through a lot of things together, and there isn't time for romance, you know, because they're in a war, you know. So in a way, they're a whole lot deeper than that. And I do like the idea of some versions of Mulan that I've seen, like some live action ones. You get this unspoken sense of that Shang knows, and everybody kind of knows that she's a girl. I mean, how could you not? But just because it was like the law doesn't mean that down on the ground, the grassroots, you know, doesn't mean that they necessarily would turn people in. They could have played along with it, you know. So yeah, and to think that he whether he knows she's a girl or not, that he kind of gets to know her in all the other ways, virtues that he likes, before romance enters the picture. So you know what I mean? I find that interesting. Yeah, anybody else?
Yeah, there's this one Spanish film, I think it was made in the 1970s. It was called Cria Cuervos. And I remember this one scene in it where the children, three girls, and they're acting out their parents' argument because they witness that all the time. And the father's away, the mother's away, and they try on their different clothes and stuff like that. And it's very subtle. It's very subtle because, you know, the whole masculinity, femininity, gender role society, you know, it's all a masquerade, and that changes with time. And it's very interesting with this story in particular, because like, you know, we can also talk about like what makes a woman, what makes a man, what makes a human, because, you know, from my perspective, you know, the whole be a man thing, like it's interesting from my perspective because I'm the only non-human in the show, and I guess right, and oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. Right, to fabricate by means of destruction, that's a human thing. But what also makes a human is to care for something other than yourself. And, you know, despite my selfishness, despite my selfish agenda, you know, I do for a moment become human. So, yeah.
Yeah. Mushu's a person, you know. I mean, he's a demigod or something, right? Lizard, mascot, it's called.
It's very
You're
unclear.
anthropomorphized, so yeah, you're a person.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Anybody else on anything? Come on, go ahead. Don't be shy.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's talk about something else.
Emily. Okay.
Through the rehearsal process, what was everyone's favorite part? Was it, or how was everyone's rehearsal process?
I
How
was
did you
gonna
prepare for
say,
your
is all of it an answer?
Enjoyed all of it?
or describe your rehearsal process. How did you prepare for your role? That's a good question.
Jackson, I'd love to hear. You know, you worked on all 3 shows, but you acted in this one prominently, and I don't know. You know, being from South Korea, being here, I don't know. What was your whole experience? I mean, I'd love to hear like what you have to say about it all.
So one of the most glad part that I didn't have to do was accent training. 'Cause
Oh no, you're breaking up. There we go.
Miss Weber was like, "Oh, you need to sound like real. It needs to sound like real English." But then in Milan, since I'm playing Asian character, I didn't really need to fix my accent because I already have an accent. So like everybody could still understand, but I like didn't have to do that. So that was the most stable part. And you know, the songs and other music part was, I wouldn't say it's hard, but it was the most fun. It was the funniest part because, when I was listening to the recording of Be a Man, I'm sorry, it sounded like Ninja Turtle, and we started making jokes about it.
Yeah.
And then,
I will hold on to the end of this rope.
No, I remember the line. The line was that last song that the Emperor sings to him, and he goes, "Duty, Your Excellency."
Yeah,
Splinter.
I remember making. So at the first rehearsal, I made some joke about because I gave you guys all the junior recording, whatever that they send you to listen to and get used to it. And like the guy in the recording, when the Emperor says you should know your duty, the guy that plays Shang on the recording is like, "Duty, Your Excellency." I mean, that's what it sounds like. And I remember saying that it sounded like a ninja,
actually,
like a ninja turtle, and you guys took that and run with it. And also because I was talking about, Mark had asked like, well, what do I do? Do I do
Yeah.
sounding accent? And I was like, yeah. I mean, for goodness sake, let's all relax a little bit. And so because I was talking about like Splinter on Ninja Turtles and how he was.
Yeah.
I think Splinter is from Japan in Ninja Turtles, so he had kind of that accent, and whether it's a white guy playing him in the cartoon or not, who knows and who cares. And I felt comfortable enough even with you, Jackson, to when you were playing the matchmaker, and the first couple times we did it, you weren't quite there yet with voice and comedy and where it needed to go. And I think it kind of pulled you aside and was like, listen, I need you to be like a stereotype, like, like be ridiculous, and I feel like you're like, I know what you mean. And from there, you're great. I think it's great to just kind of just drop all this crap for a minute and just, for goodness sake, just relax and put on the show. And I think it all works beautifully. I mean, I don't know. I don't find anything offensive in it. You can tell me, but not at all. I think it's all in good fun.
And
People have accents, Christ. Yeah, some people are raising their hands. Autumn, Allison. Go ahead, Allison, then Autumn.
For me,
Yeah.
I guess this doesn't really have to do that much with me, but Felix, when you were in your Sean Yu costume, I just felt like so small standing next to you. I mean, you're a pretty tall guy, and I'm a pretty short girl, but like, I don't know what it was about that costume. It just made you feel so
No,
much
it made me
bigger.
feel big too. No, for sure. When I wore the Shan Yu costume, it just made me like feel huge. And actually, to speak on that, to connect that to what Emily said about the rehearsal process too, is that Shan Yu's character in the movie, he's less of like menacing, oh Sean Yu, and more like very, I don't know, like the way he talks really smoothly and is like very, but it's so scary still. And I didn't know how to take that on without looking stupid. And so I kind of like changed it and embodied that whole bear. Like my costume made me look like a bear, like some. So I embodied that, and instead I changed it from, which I wish I could have acted more like smooth and conniving and stuff. But I thought it would be cooler if I made it more of like a I don't know what the word is, like brusque, like a big guy, loud voice, like really scary, like you know what I mean?
Yeah, you come across like a pro wrestler. I think I was like, Felix, you got to come out like Triple H and be, command.
Yeah.
Shoulders
in the
back,
movie, in the movie, he's
in the
scary.
crowd.
Yeah, exactly. In the movie, he's scary, but he's scary in like a different way than like forceful. He's kind of just like terrifying, just on his own. And so with the costume making me so big too, it helped to enforce the fact that I was trying to be like this dominant, like So yeah,
I remember talking to Chris, the costume designer, about like putting I was like, he needs to look like a football player, like he puts stuff under.
Yeah, I did. I had the pads underneath.
Yeah, and even like you're wearing, and I was like, he's got to wear furs and things. Mm-hmm. And it was like you said, if you come across like a bear, like a wild animal, but it's also suggestive, right? Because it's like you're wearing things that you've killed.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
It's a subtle, thing to do. Yeah, Jackson.
And one of the parts that worked with that new character was when he was taking the emperor. He would shout his name, but it wasn't supposed to sound funny. But we took it as funny. It was the shot you. The song, and people like after the show, like, can you please do it the way the song does?
Soldier Boy, yeah. So backstage we had a joke. We had a joke backstage, because of the way he shouts "Sean Yu," it reminds us of that Soldier Boy song. Soldier Boy, tell him. So like backstage, we would make jokes about it all the time. Like Felix would walk in and he'd be like "Sean Yu," and then one of the last shows we were like, bro, like it's like the second to last or the last show. Like you should just do it. Just do it.
I don't remember if I did it or not.
You did.
You did. It was like the last show.
That's great.
Yeah, 100%, bro. You did it. You definitely did.
I wanted to ask guys about when I watched the recording. I laughed, and then I also went like this to the screen. And you can tell me if it's intentional, and I think it is. I think you're all pulling a joke on each other, but speaking to accents and translation and things, I think Jackson, you used to say accidentally, get the emperor to the stage.
I heard that too. I thought I was thinking when I heard that.
Remember you're speaking a different language, for goodness sake.
No, that was definitely not unironic. Like that was unironic, and he just said that, and we just made fun of him for it.
Yeah.
You never let him live that up.
In the recording, Emily Weber, you say to Mushu, "Get the emperor to the safety."
Yeah, I heard her say it.
It was in this. You gotta have done that on purpose, right?
He did not do it on purpose. He definitely did not.
The legendary one was when I was matchmaker.
Oh yeah.
I told Mulan, you may look like a boy.
Instead of girl, you may look like a bride, but you'll never be you'll never bring your family honor.
And after I said boy,
like a boy,
Emily and I looked at each other and started smiling. Not to laugh.
Yeah, there was a lot of mishaps with Jackson's language. It's quite funny.
I remember as Emperor, when Jackson said get the Emperor the coverage or safety, whatever he
the
said.
Coverage.
That.
The coverage. No, so there were two. There were two. There was one instance where he said get the Emperor to the safety, and then there was another where he said get the Emperor to the coverage.
And whoever was, I think it was Michael and Mikey that would drag me off stage, and we would all just be cracking up with our backs turned around to the audience. Just
speaking of cracking up on stage, so every time Mark did that line where he big introduction as the Emperor, we're all bowing and stuff. He comes in and he's like, "Citizens of China," you know what I mean? And like that killed. So it's me, Michael and Allison. We're all bowing, but like we had our heads down, and thank God we did, because we were corpsing really hard on stage, like laughing so hard. One show, Jackson like nudged me. He was like, "Shut up." Like, you just couldn't help it, bro.
Is there anything else, guys? Just when watching the show, I mean, and taking it in either story wise or visual or something that you're like, huh, or whatever. Go ahead, Autumn.
So I wanted to talk about, because I remember you talked about earlier how you said we were able to just kind of like let go and just like, do the show as we were supposed to. And I feel like what really helped with that was how close we got really quickly. Because,
100%.
usually like in theater, like casts get really close and stuff, but with us, we all just clicked really instantly. And I think a lot of the times after shows end, casts drift apart and stuff, but we've literally been staying in contact this whole time. We've been talking like since
Yeah.
last year, and we've hung out and stuff, and it's like we're just so close and we talk all the time, and it's just really cool to have a group of people like that. And I think that's what we were able to do with the show, is like use that and use it in our performance and take our relationships with each other and put it into the show, and it just made us have more passion with it because we just loved it so much and we loved being together every day. And I just think that really helped with the performance, and it was just really good to
I think it shows for sure because it's like we got so invested like in each other and in the show and in the atmosphere, and like we were all so tight talking about our lives or whatever.
yeah
And yeah, we just kind of like, I feel like, or I hope that it like bleeds into like what you see when you watch it, because
Yeah.
it's like we got so into it. We would make jokes about the songs and like say this, that, and the third about the songs, and like if we weren't on the stage performing them, then we were backstage singing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Mikey. Well, two things I always like to mention that, and this is a case where it truly is the truth. Is that how long do we have to rehearse?
A week.
2 weeks.
1 week. We did this one in 1 week.
1 week.
So yeah, so
we don't have a tech week. We have a tech day.
Yeah. So 1 week to put the show on. And also, I was gonna say, I've talked about this in some past Zoom conferences that I hope you guys have a good time. I gotta tell you, that isn't the goal. Because I'm all about I'm focused on the audience. I just want the show to be good. I want the audience to have a good time. They're paying money. They've gotten the kids up and out of the house. They deserve our respect and the best we can do. However, there is, of course, I want you guys to have a good time. But the real like sense that I hope you do is the way that spirit bleeds, gets into the performance, and as an audience member, you can feel that chemistry between people and friendship between people. That kind of comes out in a spirit kind of sense for an audience. So that's the best way that I like you guys to get along and have fun.
Like I just remember it being really, really fast, and I remember the first day of rehearsal, we all just started instantly talking, and it was just like a instant friendship from the first point then on, and we just got super close, super quick, and it just stuck. And usually that it's rare for a whole cast group of people to stay in touch after show, because a lot of times people drift apart, like I already said, but it was just like it's been ongoing and stuff. So
it was like the simplest thing too. Like someone would be like, "Hey, I saw that meme," and then they'd be like, "Yo, I saw that one too," and then you like, you know what I mean? Like just little stuff like that.
Well, I gotta say, you guys two are the first cast to, and I never expect this or whatever. It's fine. I'm not big sentimental on cards and things, but I think you're like the first cast that gave me a card afterward.
Yeah,
Caleb gave this beautiful drawing of
that
Splinter, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet.
We all went to CVS that there was like one day after a rehearsal or a show or something. We all went to CVS, and our mission was to find you a gift. And we were looking around the store. We spread out. And we were like, okay, what can we do? What can we get them? And like we were all talking and brainstorming. It was a whole. We went on a mission.
We planned that for a while because J Dog, also known as Jordan, she was the stage manager of the show. Shout out J Dog. She was asking people for like a good week. She was like, "Yo, everybody give $5. We're gonna get him something."
That's very sweet. I appreciate it. It's cute.
All right. So, personally, it was my first time doing theater and like any show at all. I've never been in a play or a musical, so it was really cool just getting to experience a different atmosphere of people. And at first I was like, "Oh, I'm probably not even gonna click with these people. I'm not even gonna fit in." And I'm going through the rehearsal process with everyone. I'm just like, it took me a little bit of time to like warm up to people, but I think the first friend I made was like Mark. But even with that, I felt like everyone was like better than me. But then when I got to the point of talking to people, I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. I'm probably going to be really close with them after. And clearly we are really close still, and I appreciate that. And I don't think you ever see that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and it's nice to it's a good blend of people. It's like Felix has done some stuff with me 2-3 years, and then Autumn maybe 1 year, Caleb 1 year, Emily Allison a few years. But getting to Jackson, Sydney, Mark, Mark, Emily, Mikey, Michael. It's nice. Yeah, and it was good to push myself out of the comfort zone too, in terms of casting, because I knew Emily and Allison already, and I was like, okay, I can do Mulan because there's Mulan right there. But I was determined. I was determined to say, there's no reason that most of the leads can't be, Asian American, and so I think Emily Marr and Jackson and Mark are the result of that, and it's good because it gets me to meet other people and get newer people into the theater, which is tough to do. It's good to slowly introduce people in with some who have done it a few years. I wouldn't want to get just a whole cast of new people, because I feel like some of the older people, even in a spirit sense, I don't know if older people who have done this a few times help newer people go through it. I don't know, but
yeah, for sure, 100%.
yeah,
I remember
let's go ahead.
my first year, I was super fortunate to be in the cast with like it was Sleepy Hollow and Sleeping Beauty. So the Sleepy Hollow was like Giuseppe and Molly and Josh, all people who've done it for like 4 years before I'd even come. I think, right? Like Josh started when he was 12, and I got there he was 16. So it was so helpful to have people like that who've been doing it for a while. They welcomed me like a friend. They showed me this and that, and like watching them act too, because I think at that time Sleepy Hollow would have been the third play I'd ever done ever. Before that was like middle school Lion King, and my first high school play was Cinderella, where I played like a supporting. I was Lord Pinkleton, and so I'd never like really played. I've done plays like that other than those two. And so this one, we're on a stage, and it's like kind of more legit than middle school or high school. And so them helping me watching them, how they were able to like take on their characters and really really act, like it was so cool to watch. So for sure, when you're put in a cast with people who've really done it before and are really good at what they do, it's really helpful to just watch and talk to them and interact with them, see what they know, understand. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, and speaking of trying to reach out to new people and filter in where people with old, over the years. Felix too was I couldn't find a good Brom Bones and a Prince if I needed Brom Bones for Sleepy Hollow, I needed a Prince for Sleeping Beauty. And thank God I went and saw Kaylee Cinderella in your high school production.
Yeah.
And I just kind of remembered you for some reason, Felix. So you had a moment where you were like a town crier.
Yes.
Check out, my girlfriend and I went and saw it, and we sat in the back row because I'm like, I don't, it's like family and stuff is all up front.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing at a high school show? But I'm glad I went because I kind of scouted you out, and I was like, I like him, and reach out to you and have you come in.
Thank you.
So thank God I went to that show. Yeah. Hey, Carly.
Hey. So it's not an audience question, but it's actually a question from me to all of you guys. A lot of you said that doing Majestic Children's Theater was your first theater show ever. So what made you get into it? Like, what made you take that plunge? Throw it out to you.
Come on, somebody. We can wrap this up in a couple minutes.
Mark. I can go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it was like the day before my birthday or my birthday, I had found out, they needed Asian American actors for Mulan, and my mom was like, oh, Emily, you should do it. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not a theater girl. And I was like so skeptical. And then I made the call. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I showed up. I was like, maybe this is gonna be a fun experience. I always thought theater was like weird. like personally,
Yeah.
I thought it was weird, and then
Me too.
No, I
yeah,
did
then
too.
once I got into
Everybody did. I did too.
Wow.
You're not.
this is
You're not the
pretty
only one.
cool. Yeah, and it definitely opened up a lot of doors for me. Like I got more involved with plays on my school, so and I started doing playwriting at school too. So which
Great.
I thought I'd
That's
do.
fine.
That's great.
Oh, so Steve, you actually put out an ad like in the newspaper? How did you what's the word? Advertise it? Yeah, advertise it, I guess.
For Cast?
Yeah, this like to get
Yeah.
people to.
Yeah, we put out we boosted like a Facebook
Yep,
post.
I
It's
saw
like
that.
Oh, okay.
seeking,
That's how I saw it.
seeking teenage Asian American actors,
Mhm. Cool.
Yeah, go ahead, Jackson.
It wasn't my first show, the first show in like with with Majestic Theater. It was my first show, but then it wasn't my first show in my life. But then it was as hard choice as Emily's because I had to stay the whole summer in a different country rather than going back home, which is like
Yeah.
7,000 miles away. But it was a really great experience and very memorable because of, first of all, cast family and awesome director Master Splinter, and all the theater experience, and I fell in love with theater more due to this process. So yeah, there was like I was like, should I do this or not? And I'm like, Mizura was like, yeah, you should audition, and then I auditioned, and then I got the role, and I was like, so do I have to stay in America? What about
You sure do. Red-blooded, steak-eating American.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you did.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Yeah.
glad I did too.
Yeah, it's great, and
I
I'm
would-
glad we all did this when we did it.
Yeah, I'm so glad it wasn't this year.
And we'll all do it again someday. We just gotta be patient.
I gotta get my visa first.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. I mean, unless anyone has any final things to say, go ahead. Now's the time. But otherwise, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get back to this party here and.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah.
I think that's all we got.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve. All right. So next
Yeah.
Sunday, what are we doing?
I think I'm doing Velveteen Rabbit.
Cool.
Back in 2015. So Velveteen Rabbit.
Going all the way back.
I had said before, easily, just the sappiest kitty-friendly thing I've ever done. But it's good. It'll be good to revisit that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll be looking out for that then. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Till next week.
Good night, Splinter.
Bye.
Yes, sir.